Today in Grow a Garden in Roblox, I have the misfortune of being able to tell you about probably one of the biggest stealth nerfs Grow a Garden has ever seen in its history. And I wish I didn't have to bring this information to you, but it's so widespread and so all over the place that you need to know. And if this information is useful to you, go ahead and hit the red subscribe button. Become part of the first 100K OGs on the channel because we are growing like crazy. And without further ado, let's get into the video. This stealth nerf is wide and all-encompassing. It affects fruits. It affects plants. It seems to affect all sorts of things. And if you're staring at my massive, huge garden, it has something to do with this. I am a major fan of huge plants and huge fruits. For example, you see these massive bone blossom trees, the massive fossilite, the gargantuan beanstalk. Let me walk away. The gargantuan beanstalk, the huge lily, and then in terms of fruits, this humongous, astronomical dino shroom, which may now become practically impossible to replicate moving forward. And let me explain. This right here is the Grow a Garden Wiki, a fantastic resource that I've used for all sorts of videos. And in the wiki, you can see all of the plants that are currently available, as well as all the plants that used to be available. And these wikis have critical information on them. They tell you the plant, how big it is, they tell you its tier and its seed chance. They let you know if it's multi-harvestable and if it's obtainable, as well as its seed price, its base value, how much its minimum weight is, etc. But there's a critical piece of information located on this wiki that has had a major change. The huge chance for so many plants has been nerfed into the ground. And it may not just be for the plants as well. For example, here in this burning bud, it says the huge chance for the produce is 0.001%. And when I click to the crop or plant, it still says 0.001%. And it's not just the burning bud that was affected. If we go through all the prismatic and transcendent plants and even weaker plants, you're going to see a common trend. The giant pine cone says 0.001. The beanstalk says 0.004. And I will continue in a second looking at those numbers, but for context, you're probably wondering what were they before? Well, as somebody who possesses a gargantuan beanstalk and currently owns, I think 13 or 14 beanstalk seeds, constantly spamming them over to try and make another huge, I am intimately familiar with the percentage. And the percentage before was 0.3. And 0.3 is very different to 0.004, to the tune of like 75 times harder. So instead of getting a giant beanstalk in 1 in every 333 attempts, instead you're getting a giant beanstalk in 1 in every 25,000 attempts. That's insane. That laughter was pain. I'm laughing through the pain. Now, this is actually worse than you might imagine. Do you see that giant horned dino shroom that I created? It was created under one specific circumstance, and that specific circumstance was the use of blood hedgehogs combined with its own innate ability to be huge. And if we go and pull up the horned dino shroom, which is located here in the unobtainable legendaries, as you can see, its huge chance is now 0.001. And using the website called the Wayback Machine, I can take a look at web pages weeks ago or days ago. And as of July 14th, the wiki used to say that the horned dino shroom's huge chance was 0.36. 1 in every 300 or so, which is why it was possible to grind for multiple hours to wait for that percent chance of it being huge, that 0.3 combined with the blood hedgehogs to make the huge dino shroom. But now that the huge chance is 0.001, this is going to be impossible. And this doesn't just affect the horned dino shroom, this is affecting every single plant and fruit in the game. Do you guys remember the huge honeysuckle method? Well, guess what? It's now a huge chance of 0.001. What about those extra massive moon melons? Oh, it's down to 0.006. Maybe you're thinking that you have a candy blossom, and Jendal loves the candy blossom. He shows favoritism to the candy blossom. There's no way he would make the candy blossom be nerfed. Oh, my sweet summer child. its huge chance is all the way down to 0.001. And for those of you wondering, that's a 1 in 100,000 chance for an innately huge, randomly huge candy blossom. So many fruits were affected by this nerf. Fossilite says 001. The dragon pepper is also 001. The pitcher plant is 002. I don't know why it's twice as likely, but it is. Even the sunflower got nerfed to 001. Elephant ears went down to 001. Though oddly enough, the maple apple is at the normal 0.3, and the sugar apple is also at the normal 0.3. I don't know what it is about apples, but they seem to have escaped the nerf somehow. And this nerf is definitely not the same across the board, because the lowly blueberry is actually at 5%. The tomato is at 3.333%, though with the same rarity as the tomato, the Serenity, the newest flower, is all the way down to 0.003. But don't worry guys, our carrots are still at 5%. It's okay, we can have huge carrots, guys. But what about something more rare and more expensive and more valuable? What about the bone blossom? Do you guys remember the bone blossom method involving just Triceratops? Not even using cats, just the Triceratops. Remember how that was possible before? Using the Wayback Machine website, I can show you why it was possible, because as of July 14th, there was a whopping massive 2.5% chance to be huge. This is why you could just have the Triceratops make the blossoms over and over, and eventually one would be huge fairly quickly because it was actually at 2.5%. And you're wondering, what's the chance of a huge bone blossom now? I'm so sorry. Currently, the huge bone blossom chance is also 0.001. Is this a typo? Is this a database error? Is this just the plant huge chance and not the fruit huge chance? Or is this the fruit huge chance and not the plant huge chance? We don't know because the information is labeled very vaguely. However, it would be reasonable to guess that the 2.5% may be applied to both plant and fruit huge chances, because we did have the base Triceratops method to make lots of big bone blossoms and it worked. And I also happened to grow 5, not 4, 5 huge bone blossom trees. There's 4 in the front and there's 1 more around the corner. So not only do I think that previous 2.5% applied to fruits, I also think it applied to trees, the plants. And if that's the case, growing huge plants may no longer be farmable. Growing huge fruits may no longer be farmable. Jandal and the developers may have intentionally nerfed the fruits and accidentally nerfed the plants, or vice versa, or nerfed both on purpose, or nerfed both by accident, or the website is wrong. It has inaccurate information. I have no way of knowing for sure, but I wanted to bring this to your attention because this could change Grow a Garden for forever. I hope this video was valuable to you guys. I'm trying to bring you as much useful information as I can. If it was valuable, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Be part of the first 100 KOGs. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.